When you look at the Indian education landscape, it's important to recognize that private schools play a huge role. So data suggests that in many cities, the market share of private schools is over 50%, and in rural India, that's about 30%. What that means is, if as a government, we care about improving education outcomes for all Indians, it's important to think about both the public system and the private system. The question is, what are the things the government can do that can improve the private schools and private outcomes without getting in their way too much? Now, one of our challenges with regard to private school regulation is that a lot of the regulation focuses on input-based mandates, whereas what is much more important is to give schools autonomy in how they choose to teach, but provide a little bit more accountability for their outcomes with regard to learning outcomes. Okay. So one of the most powerful ways that a government can enable this is by providing better information on how schools are doing with regard to outcomes and not just on inputs. We have a lot of research showing that providing better information on school quality leads to dramatic improvements in school quality in both public and private schools. And that's because parents are better empowered with better information to make better choices, and that forces schools to invest in improving their quality. Okay, I have a PhD in economics. I have done 20 years of research on education, but I still have no idea what is going on inside the classroom of my children's school. So as parents, we kind of use rough rules of thumb. We go check the infrastructure, we go get a sense of which other kids are in the school, but we don't really know about the quality of education or what's happening inside the classroom. Okay, so what the government can do to empower parents and thereby kind of encourage schools to focus on better teaching and learning and outcomes is by investing in independent measurement of outcomes and then declaring that as through transparent report cards. And I think this is something that can be a very inexpensive way of improving the entire education system. One analogy I like to think about in terms of thinking about the quality of public and private schools in India is this analogy of two men in a jungle being chased by a bear. Okay, and the first one says, "Oh my God, we better outrun the bear." And the second one says, "No, I just have to outrun you." Okay, and so similarly, you can think about education in India as the public and private schools are these two guys. The bear of illiteracy and poor learning outcomes is chasing us. The private school is slightly better than the government, okay, but it's not doing that much better. So what you want is you want both of them to do better, and by providing better information, you create the competitive pressure for both the public schools to get better and for the private schools to get better. And that's how we will improve overall systemic education performance.